Today, the 21st day of September 2020. We want to learn at table the findings of WFP, World Food Program. Until we say, the latest study within Duna Salon, they cannot say up to 5.1 million Sierra Leoneans them, whenever you mention its business, food, they are insecure. I want to make you take note of the numbers. 5.1 million. They say up to 63% of Sierra Leoneans. Food insecurity. Somebody they ask you, how did we get here? Out of 7 million people, 5.1 million not able for no side the next meal they come out. We don't reach to Gary, and at the last resort. We don't even know what's in a balanced diet. I make a lot of the time, Saloma go tell you not like vegetable. Because even the rest, we will say now staple food. It's difficult to come by the dining table. Let alone you are add vegetable param. Now then the one can look inside today. And like one fumble them, make we talk. But before that, we want to get the COVID-19 status update. Since we'll not be there on Sunday, so make we just peep and see what thing may happen on Sunday. Yesterday, Sunday, the 28th of September, there been 9 confirmed cases. 9. And yesterday, we will get the big idea for the week. Let us see what's in the big idea say. Together, small action there can make a big difference. Let us support, we picking them for make them learn safely. We for support, we picking them as school like open for make them go school, but also able for learn safely. They say together, small action go make big difference. Schools, that is one of the 20th to the 26th of September. Schools, then a part of we communities. The everyday action where we go take for keep we communities safe, go also help for keep we school them safe. By way we will go keep we school safe, we go help for protect the whole community. Inside the big idea, it in category. This not for the students them. The student and say you're supposed to be a leader. And in that way, you go keep you safe, your school, your family, and your community safe. You go encourage, you party them, and you follow students them for put safety first, and always for wear your face mask. That's not for the students them, but this not for the teachers them. You say, you for be a role model to the students, that's not for teachers. Teachers for be a role model for the students them, and also the staff them for always wear their face mask over their mouth and their nose. That means say for wear properly, for make sure say the students they also they wear their own. Because if teacher no wear their own, I go able to tell school picking for wear their own. They say if you know how for sport and waiting for do with sick school pikin them. Teacher for know how for sports pikin will look no well, and then for no waiting for do. I hope they're trained. I hope so. Because we don't get what we call form sick in Sierra Leone. Quick then say na form sick, they form sick. I hope so in this era of COVID-19, when somebody they show signs say he's sick, or where he say he's sick, let me know say COVID-19 they and hadia, rather than for say na form sick. This one now to the mama, papa caregivers them. Not send you pikin go school. If he's sick. Make sure say you pikin wearing face mask where they left the house for going to school. And whenever I come back, make sure say this face mask you dey wash them every day. Talk to you pikin about the importance for make the action then where he go take for keeping himself safe. Not enough for the parents them and the caregivers them, the guardians them. Now this now for the communities. Together, our small action can make a big difference. Make we support with school picking them and we picking them for make them learn and then grow to their full potential. That's not a big idea for the week. We say together, small action then can make a big difference. Make we support the school picking them so that they go able for learn safely. And for yesterday, but we just care for do the big idea. Today, I saw the numbers then look like the 21st of September. $113 tests. Now in the lab they analyze. 113 tests. Out of this 113, 0 positive. We mean say nobody not test positive for COVID-19 today na salon. However, if you don't know say, now we dey on average when at 350 tests. So you're gonna say this one, not to all the testing coming. By tomorrow, when all the testing go don't come in, we go able for tell. But still, 0 new case for today. The confirmed cumulative case then now in a saloon still team up at 2,168. For the past 24 hours, nobody no lost in life to COVID-19. So we still dey at 72. The one them where they in isolation centers are 446. For the past 24 hours, nobody no recover from COVID-19. So we still stand at 1,650. The one that were in quarantine, na 278. The one that were on discharge, na 11,144. Mano River countries. The confirmed cases then for today. Sierra Leone, 0. Liberia, 0. Guinea, 39. Ivory Coast, 51. Total number of 90. And that 90 day, Ivory Coast and Guinea. Cumulative death. Sierra Leone, 72. Guinea, 64. Liberia, 82. And Ivory Coast, 120. Total number, 338. over the weekend, somebody be contact Sarah Network for make we know say up till now, contact tracers them have not been paid. Then give it their location, then say the contact tracers and also the point of entry workers them. Now government wharf or AJNet, now so they call the area. Then we contact Sarah Network for make we know say they're not paid the too. So today we will get opportunity for ask the question now the daily NACOVAC press briefing. And NACOVAC want to make we know say they no go say na true, they no go say na lie. But however, then go follow up. And then we'll get back to we for see exactly if those people are aging it, because they say from May to September, they've not been paid. They say they don't ala they know ala again, then they're just tired. So then just take them, it is what it is. So I be promised them say, I will ask the question. And we will give them 2 days. Maybe by Wednesday or Thursday, we will ask a follow-up question. Let us see if they don't get an answer. But for today, they say they can't say because then we don't hand over the payments in the to other company for take care of, so they can't say if not true or not true. But definitely we go follow up. So the one them will be reach out for make Sarah Network know. And this we find out from NACOVAC. Now we come to a program proper for today. For say, 5.1 million Sierra Leoneans them get food insecurity. In this one, now waiting WFP find out and conduct a survey before or just the start of the COVID-19 and not too long ago. As one family, we are all affected by this. 5.1 million people, nas alone. Food insecurity. And the most vulnerable areas them, na Putloko, Falaba, Bombali, Kenema, Koinadugu, Tonkolili, Moyamba, Kono, and we very own Western area urban. Yes, inside the city. Western area urban. I believe say me and you be done there during the lockdown era, where a lot of people be the event at the government at that time for say, oh, they need for lockdown for 21 days. They need for lockdown for 7 days. The findings be able for pinpoint say, just a small lockdown we do, it will make people them suffer. Just a small lockdown. On a wider stage, me and you sometimes we're not able to foresee. But I want to believe say in those meetings, because government be they always talk say, then they do it in conjunction with all their stakeholders them. Now they can sit down they agree. With what you fair not now, you go on for believe say yes, then they maybe government be one go as far as them be one go. But WFP, then be they put them foot down. For say, this one, you not go find no. You not go find at all. Because waiting do, people then they suffer. If you not person will be the support 21 days, then 10 day. Where you hear this? How you feel? Or you feel safe or be don't still better let them lock down no more? Eh? If I don't say let them lock down no more? But then come up with suggestions them also. They not just find them findings and left and day. And come up with suggestions food transfer, food distribution, cash transfer for support agriculture. Support agriculture. You think, say, it go help in the food insecurity in Sierra Leone? That is kind of support the farmers they need? Because most of the farmers that we talk, they talk about how we go benefit them and how they go able to feed them family. You know, reach to the extent it when they talk about how they go able for even support their community or the local government area. But they talk about how this go help them. So some people, they say, yes, EU, they give them money, but how then they utilize the money safe? Because some people, then they say, oh, subsequent farming, you get, you know, they say mechanized farming. Everybody, they come with your own kind of farming. But which one way we really need than alone? Because USA would reach now for, say, 5.1 million Sierra Leoneans them. They face food insecurity. And EU don't they give money. There is another project where they say that loan and all these things. EU they give money for help farmers them. But is it farmer for a family? Or farmer for community first before you go even extend them? To your district headquarter towns before you go even extend them to the entire country. So now there we go kind for say how empower is the local government where they in charge of all here. You see, also starts not also from the 5.1 million where WFP then fenot. We don't commodity. We don't count see USAI. Yes, EU self don't they give support for farmers them because we all know say agriculture now go able for help we inside Sierra Leone. For make we feed we self first. Not so for even begin to about agriculture for exports, but make we feed we self first ba. But again, how empower then local government here be for able for help the farmers them, for help other people them, for able for team up triangle one. Support them don't they come. Most of us say support them not they come. You're not able for listen from the WFP findings to waiting EU give the farmers them, to waiting EU again give for beef up local councils them. Because if you don't get strong local council, then you don't get empowered farmers them, then I think say we don't go small for help with the food insecurity nas alone. But Bakutinde where you listen, where I don't know how you take them. Because people still they say mechanized farming na the way to go. All the small one not go work correct for we. So down the road, the food insecurity go still did it. But make a come with Usman Toli, make we hear waiting he get for we today. Yes, Usman Toli, you get the platform, sir. Welcome on board.
Okay, thank you very much for having me, AAA, and also I would thank Radio Democracy for bringing this information together, because from the audio that we don't play, it looked like now 3 different reports. The first report now from the representative of the World Food Program, where it conduct an assessment, where it look at the situation of the food security in our country. And the second one is just about the European Union, they will support to local farmers then, due to the impact of COVID-19. And the last one is about decentralization, where the EU fund about 6 districts them for help for decentralized, for help the decentralization process in the country. But what I will do, I will just purposefully just combine because they all look interrelated in some way. But the important thing what we therefore note here is that then study way then they conduct in our country now for help the policy makers them. I mean the people that we involved in the government for plan for the country, for let it help for the planning, how for make decision, how they go inform with the voters them, so that we will know what will happen in our country. And also the administrator them for let them know usai and usai then for adjust. You see, if you listen to the representative of the World Food Program and AAA, as you said highlights, the study where they make or the assessment where they make, it look at the situation before COVID, just before COVID-19, and at the peak of COVID-19. That is a kind of comparative analysis, a kind of comparative study for see how COVID-19 impact food security in our country. And as you rightly say, AAA, the study found us that just before COVID-19, about 3.9 million people, when 48% of the population, been get a problem with food security. Yeah? And at the peak of COVID-19, we then conduct the same assessment, then found out that about 5.1 million Sierra Leoneans, which is 63%. So imagine the gap is about, I think, by 15 percentage points. That is from 48% to 63%. So in other words, food security now we country go up by 15 percentage points, which is a big chunk, big chunk. So you can imagine, what in the inter-district lockdown, then 3 days lockdown will be again our country, as you say, AAA, the impact we get now we food security in the country. Indeed, we comment on that, say that 21 days lockdown will have been disastrous. That is more than apparent. Yeah. Now, if you look at the core system, because you talk about the core system, we're very important, very critical here. Why make you feel say we get that food insecurity in our country? There is that high increase of food security in our country. Yeah. And one of the interesting one we instate, we officially we don't highlight at this forum, and as well as other reports we don't listen to from mainstream media and social media, is that of food prices. The prices then for food, it only go up. And AAA, to be honest with you, when you look at some of the reports coming from like NGC, you talk about Afrobarometer, you talk about Sarah Network, for example, now your own assessment, that I talk to the camera, where they go talk to the people in the market. You see, now one of the key variables then this, one of the key factors where they affect the country, where now these food prices then, you go to market, almost everybody they grumble, almost everybody they complain. And when they call them ministers, they call them people who they expect see, therefore they take them here into account for planning, for institute programs, then we go lessen the burden on the people. Then they can, now the media publicly declare, say, the prices are stable. And I will give an example like the Minister of Trade, Dr. Vandi or Dr. Inga Vandi, and Sandi, that's it. And you listen to Imran from the Strategic Communication Unit, can publicly talk, say, prices are good, stable. But one thing that fails for realize is that then studies, and they inform people them a lot about what in the happen at the country. Yeah. And truly, if then take then criticisms here as effective criticisms, maybe that go help. But when somebody accept, say these criticisms them are effective, and if we take them into account, I think say sometimes it will help for progress. But it looks like many people here, they're not ready for listening to some of their studies here. Yeah? So, but this is more than apparent, because barometer, if you lie, NGC no go lie, seller no go lie. And people when they go to the market every day, then they see say the prices and they go up. You see, so they must then get something. You get questions then for answer in terms of prices, and clearly you go see say the priorities of the people look into voting now the priorities of the government, because so the people clearly from all their studies here, hunger, angry bokuna the country, too much hungry in the country, because if you don't get them only then they for the kind prices that we with the resource on, then they go up by over 100%. Yeah, so they go up by over 100%. So meaning more hunger in the country. Yeah. So the priorities of the government, look, they match with the people's priority. Yeah. And then when you move to the second audio, we EU support to local farmers then. We will see clearly the benefits of farming in that country, the agriculture. But again, the question is, as you see at AAA, the type of farming will they expect in that country? Will they look at mechanized farming, large-scale farming? Yeah? We know, this just to help we for giving an informed decisions over some of them policies here, some of these actions, some of them project here. Yeah? But what more we need, as we talk about this program, without numbers, agriculture is the best way forward. We don't need for the repeat we say. But this agriculture, that large scale agriculture, Usai would see what in the former Minister of Agriculture they talk about, Usai would get farm houses, then bringing technology to agriculture. We don't see recently His Excellency the President bring in a large number of tractors then for help boost the farmers then for purpose of agriculture. Those are the type of farming we talk about. I hope then we'll try for put those tractors into action. Now that's what they expect. Yeah, in order for law become full sufficient. Yeah. Not to that subsistence farming where they go grow more pepper in my backyard, then I fish in a farming at the part. That's not the type of farming. When they talk about advanced agriculture using modern technology, yeah. And if you listen to one of the doctors them as well with the interview, he say agriculture is the best way forward, but the people and they still face challenges. And what are those challenges we highlight? He say one, low productivity, lack of equipment, where they lead to low production. Basically, people do not get the tools them, yeah, in order to engage in mechanized farming, large scale farming. Those are the things then what they expect. So clearly, the doctor, I think they do research in Jala University, they don't clearly outline. Then the last part of the audio actually talks about something we mention or don't discuss in this program, AAA, if you quite remember, where they say EU, they give 25 million euros to the local councils then in order for help in the decentralization process. In other words, for help decentralize the country. And then a good number of we can at this forum, we commend the effort of the EU, first of all, for conduct a kind of a consultation process wherein people in the different districts when stakeholders them. They involve them through consultation for seed and take, will result to what we call the 5 years strategic plan. We now from there now, then therefore go now Parliament. Parliament will go scrutinize those plans, those policies within inside that 5 years strategic plan to see if we match with the central government plan. Because remember, when they may come up with this idea, this 5 years strategic plan, the government may make some concerns. The government may raise some concerns. Don't forget, the local government and the central government. The central government is always worried about what are the functions, what are the limitation of the functions of the local government, especially in terms of administration, in terms of tax revenue collection. Yeah, in terms of revenue collection, what are the limitations of the local government? We can plan this decentralization process. So those are some of the concerns them, where the central government can get. What are the limitation of powers in terms of administration, in terms of what in the local government for do, what in not for do. Those were the concerns where the central government be raised. But overall, times without numbers, we don't need to talk them. Decentralization, I think, is the best way forward. Yeah, as you listen to the Minister of Local Government. Yeah, but the manner in which they therefore do, I think, is not the question here. Would I go for monitor them, for make sure, say, those policies, then, those policies wouldn't get at the 5 year strategic plan. They're able to implement them in the interest of those councils, in the interest of the people who live in that council here. Which will make sure, say, there is no duplication of functions between the central government and that of the local government. Those are the questions then we then therefore look at. I think say we then therefore can go na the committee in the parliament. But to summarize, we see, say, food insecurity, it will increase in the country exponentially to a very large extent by 15 percentage point, which is large. Yeah. So that's policymakers then. They therefore take that into account. They therefore devise strategies then we will help for minimize the impact here. Yeah. And then finally, this just re-emphasize the point, say, agriculture is the best way forward for our country, especially when we talk about mechanized farming. It's not just about talk, yeah, putting these things on paper. Because we can quite remember AAA, when the former Minister of Agriculture, Kanaya, he talked about farm houses. He talked about service centers and then district them. Yeah, service centers. He talked about the agricultural sector, whereby now, if we don't generate over 5,000 jobs. Yeah, he talked about 2,500 farm houses. Do you remember all them here? We can put on a floor na here. But as we talk, those things not still materialize. So these are the things that we talk about. It's not only about talk. It's about do. So I will stop here. I'll give a chance to other panelists. Then thank you very much, AAA, and thanks to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usman Toli. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Make we come with Doctor. Make we waiting he gets for we today. Yes, Dr. Aissatukake Jallo, you get the platform. Welcome on board, man.
Hi, good evening and good morning to many others. I just want to say happy Monday, happy new week. We hope for a better week. I want to start with the big idea of the week by the NACOVAC team. That's really a good one. where they talk about, every little thing, if everybody work together little by little, we can really make change, and improve things, and, whether now within your home or within your work setting or within the entire nation or even across the globe. And also, the statement about teachers then because school down they start, teachers then for being able to assess, school picking them in terms of, we say this class, picking we sick, we get signs them, we our COVID-19 like signs, the way for that and really make sure that this happen, it would be nice for let them really train the teachers, give them some form of health education training, even if, a couple of hours, really for understand, because not to everybody go quickly, identify a problem we can to the, the health. Unless that parent, unless that teacher, a parent would experience, similar things, then you could expect you could do that. But if everybody gets training across the board, and then also maybe let them be able to recognize the signs them, in order for them to quickly, identify and refer the school kingdom to the health center, within the school would be very nice. But the other question is, do we have, nurses on the school campuses or the school compound, outside the Pikin and the Go school, because really I will really feel that now something we don't put in place. But let them get nurses them, with the Pikin and with students and they come, whether not on the primary care level, secondary school, or even the universities, for let them ensure state and they ask the questions and what they need for ask, for ensure state and they check temperatures them, before the Pikin go within the school the classroom. And also once they do that, then we're able to identify who that really they, among them picking there, so we don't begin to present with some symptoms, or signs them for COVID-19. If they not do that, for just they rely on the school teachers, then at the same time you expect them to let them teach effectively. I think that that's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be very hard for us to understand whether the Pikin we really sick. Yes, family, the parents then need for no safe and Pikin sick, let them not send the Pikin at school, because if that way we all do your own part, definitely we will try to control COVID-19. But I definitely feel say every school forgets a nurse, a community health nurse. We will really try for tackle them, because once the teacher don't identify the problem, what's next? What are the guidelines that they don't provide the teachers then with? Or say, okay, you get for do this. So how many teachers then get for in the classroom? The teacher get for get like an assistant. We go assistant for say, okay, this person sick, then I need for make like this person go to the health center. So, really then not a need for, they have to have some form of coordination here and some form of guidelines where we say it will make it easier for everybody. We therefore be involved in this identification of who's sick and who's not sick and things like that. Then, going into the topic for today, talking about food insecurity, we now like a 5.1 million, with them being due right after, the lockdown and everything, but prior to that we're dealing with 3.9 million. Yes, the gap is huge. You're talking about 1.2 million, and based on that study, where we listen to the report them wouldn't give. For me, I feel that was a rigorous study, even though it was done within a short period of time, but like they outlined many things, and when are the factors them, for food insecurity in our country. We already know, really, we need to do well. We can't to how people and they live, in Sierra Leone, even with the Afro barometer we discussed now a few weeks ago, really outlined, say, these are some of the areas that won't they really struggle with, but how we can able to help, in improving these things in the country. Yes, poverty, we know now a key factor now, so now the main cause for, food insecurity in the country. Unemployment, now other one, they talk about that, and also we lack water for, proper drinking water, and then we lack light. If you don't get anything, and how you go even preserve the food where you don't already cultivate, or the food where you don't already purchase outside, of the home, how you go store the food. So all that will make it very difficult. I believe some of the things that they will make, we will be really advocate for a lockdown of the country, in the end of it, after we did some analysis or thoughts about it, we say, yes, it is going to be a challenge, but I think government have a role to ensure that these things for the people, right? Because, for lockdown for 14 days at that time, it was crucial. It was necessary. I believe many of us were advocating for that, because if you get an illness, within the country where it's an illness where they spread very rapidly among people, you get to find a way how to do a lockdown. But we didn't do that really. We did the 3 days, maybe twice, and did those inter-district lockdown, and that makes it challenging, because our inter-district lockdown, if you tell me, most people they do them farming, now upline for bring food there into the capital city. So, if you look at it, maybe people from my own, looking at this, maybe they need to look down a little bit. People within the capital city might even struggle, food-wise, because they not get, ways how they will reach them food, and the food them is going to be very expensive because the transportation, they move. But also, the one then within the provinces or different villages, then their own problem or constraints get to be, the fact say they don't get light, they don't know how for store the food and the spoil. And yes, they can able do the agriculture, then they're able for, cultivate these things, they harvest them, then crops, or plant them, but if you cannot store it properly because you lack in, light, it's going to make it very challenging, But then, why don't we look at some of the effects where really, because I want to all understand this. Sierra Leone, now one of the countries that really suffer with food insecurity. Well, don't forget to say again, even where they live now overseas, within this America, where they live now, 1 in 9 people in the United States are having issues with food insecurity. So now problem where they a global problem, not to just one sector. But we are number just huge based on the population. We talk about, 7.5 million, population, and then you're dealing with 1.5 way, then they suffer with, food problems. That's not good. More than 65% of the population already, they struggle with food. I think for me, anything where they, below 50%, not to a good thing, not to a way of saying that the country they go in a right direction. I think the country really for the last few months we don't talk now. I just feel things then just get worse. We talk to we see what talk to the camera, they present to me every time we watch videos on different things. They say, okay, well today they don't talk about this particular problem. That side is better. Or today they talk about this and this one, at least you can slightly still see. I feel everything is going wrong, and I don't know. We're waiting really to go on in terms of those that are really, governing us, in terms of how they want to improve, these things. You cannot just be doing studies and not really acting on the studies. So as you see these reports, it's good for when you don't see the report, you take those recommendations and when you do the studies, say that this we don't find out, okay, what you will get for do now for ensure this problem here, so we will solve them. But I not see then they do that. It's just that you're having information that is not being utilized. If you get information, you do a study, you do a research, for let you use your study or you finding for something where say you go try for improve that area there. So I think that the problem there, if we cannot use our resources or use the things that they present with for no say this now we problem in the country, this now so we need for do how go for tackle the problem, then we're not ready to go anywhere when it comes to development, when it comes to, infrastructure or food in general. Yes, we don't get two or three people in this administration with the work, the Chief Minister, Francis Ben Kaifala, all down their farm, even including the President and West. So, okay, why una don't do this farming? What's in our goal now? What's in the goal? What's in our intent to achieve? Because the gods go do farming because you want to gain profit out of it, right? So if you just say you rest now 200,000 euros, where we say the rest now Sierra Leone, you look at them 250, 300,000, that's not way of helping because you need to pay for shipping those food into the country, the food then they're within the country. So all that need for be deducted from, the cost. It will be cheaper. For me, it will be around, 50% of the original cost for the other hand, the way they actually ship food into the country. And if you even look at the packaging, like from the picture where I just see, if you look at the packaging for the rice, that's a problem right there. We get problem with the manufacture something. We not even give that presentation for that people to really be attracted to buying that food. So, if you not do all these things, the packaging is a problem. People can make good products in Sierra Leone, but if they not do the right packaging, it's not going to help the country to go forward. So now, just to say, in terms of the effect itself on, food insecurity, you didn't worry about somebody's health and then picking them growth and development now an issue where there is a lack of food, when there is a malnutrition, all the different things that we possibly need to get the nutrients them, is very vital in their growth and development. Because if you not get food, now your system, now a form of fuel where you need to say where your body needs for let it really nourish, you cells them and you organs them. So that's not a problem. So it can lead to many different things where it will even cause, not only poor health, iron deficiency, anemia, where we say now a form of, due to food, right? Like this form of iron deficiency where it will be now blood loss, but this particular iron deficiency now due to food. Right? And then you deal with people where they would live with, anxiety, depression, some psychosocial issues them go even come up when you talk about, food insecurity. Because if you not able to forget what you eat today, like maybe you barely ate something, a cup of rice among, 5, 6 people in the household, the next day you go sleep with the concern say, which I will eat tomorrow. So you see, it affects that person, mentally, and physically. Not, that's not something where we get for look into and not say now a big problem, for many people in the country, and also somebody will get health condition like diabetes, high blood pressure. If you not really get, the proper diet we will take, if we eat, especially like if now, excuse me, sorry. Okay. Sorry, I had an interruption. So if you're not diabetic, they expect you for like eat low carbohydrate diet, right? And if you think about it, now in your country, more than 60% of the food we eat now rest, right? That's not going to make that person in diabetes improve. Rather, it will make it worse. One of the only food option that you get. Get any other option for say, let you try to eat more vegetables, more protein, and yes, we get fish. We don't say we not get problem with fish in the country, but there are lean meat and other things that where the person need for eat for control the health problem. So there's so many things attached to it that can really make it very difficult, for people in the country. But with the hope say, with the agricultural way, then they focus on that, they will do better things with the product so that the people then will benefit from, agriculture in the nation. And in that way, they hope for the best for Sierra Leone, but many other countries are also facing challenges. But I know we nation is very, like a small one, a small population. If we work together, we can really try to improve on these areas when are the basic human, needs, when it comes to, development of the nation. And if you really think about it, AAA here, where you talk about food insecurity, you really talk about empowering people for let them make their own
choices about the food that they eat. They try for also for ensure the people that not go to bed hungry, right? Then they eat something very nutritious, to their health, in a way they say not to just for say I don't eat, then I go sleep, and that alone, a huge task now with country, and with the hope that can come, to a pass for everybody in Sierra Leone. Thank you very much. I think I'll leave it here, and with the hope things will get better in Sierra Leone. Hashtag, we want, it's just too many things to pick on, but hashtag Salone tough. We are tough people. We're going to keep fighting. And, you mentioned something, Triple AC, how they manage. That word, how they manage. People are not for the manage when it comes to certain things. We're not for the manage. That manage, they not the problem. So, no try to change that narrative to say, what, how they thrive. So hashtag Sierra Leoneans hope to thrive towards food security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Make we count whose friend, make we waiting he gets for we. Yes, whose friend, welcome on board, sir. You get the platform.
Yeah, thank you very much, Triple A. Good evening to you, and then hello to everyone, and thanks to previous analysts, and thanks to Doctor and also Mr. Usmatoli. And we just want to put me on side now, regarding this World Food Program, then assessment we then get for survey we then get. Because we know say if now 5.1 million, of course, now just it's more than, it's almost 2/3, but 2/3 of the population, and they don't take up. We know they even get food security. But in the first place, I just want to look from different perspectives. First, I want to look at the agencies they are, their role and what thing that they do. That are the organizations, they're now agencies, donors, and so on and so forth. Then I want to look at from the perspective of the people and say the farmers there, and then the government new role. Kind of the three parts then where. The one I want to look for is either then WFP, one of the World Food Program, and I believe saying one of the largest humanitarian agencies in the world, and they aim now for letting them work towards zero hunger, and now for remove hunger, and then bring other initiative they have. I think now just after that 1962 earthquake will be Akona, Iran, because of course United Nations has been formed. Then we don't do, and they aim now for let war not come, and then get in fact they wouldn't look into the issues them regarding like say let war not come, let people get food, sustainability, then get this. So then they get different factors they would look into that thing they are. But this WFP in particular now, then born in 1962 when Iran then get this issue. All right, they aim now this aim there for put zero hunger. Okay, then you aim back now for let in case food shortage, like earthquake, they will not get food, and awareness they can take, they go give people one go of food, transport them, fly them, cargoes them, give them. But later they find out say it not go able for help because not go just the give. So then they decide for get this one the Food and Agriculture Organization, who are part of the UN and the WFP, now a branch from them. So then they go now the country now, like Salone we don't can this so they don't did it from few years there now. So that they can look what thing they will able for help for build inside this agriculture sector. And then get different when they look at how for keep the supply of food. First of all, I be able for flow. Now they aim down one, then they for so then get, then they come back, then they scale up the support, so then go able for look for the most vulnerable, the one that will not able for even do anything, the support so then go give them. Then they scale up back support for ensure say the nutritious and the affordability of food. It go able for day for all man. Okay, then they invest back. One at the fourth one, they invest on resilience. And at the area this now, and wouldn't they really do right now. But when they look at waiting, then they can't deliver. What they say, then they look for resilience. And the resilience that now waiting, then they recover from a quick shock. Like we don't get a shock, then they try for recover you. So they expect the people they don't drop now they don't get food, or they're not able to get access for them to do agriculture, or sometimes the climate will affect them, or sometimes they don't even get fertilizers, or they don't even access of pest control, or they don't even get roads were accessible, or sometimes they don't get water, electricity. So all those kind of things, then they look at what them will bring, and they try to bring in a resilience. That's not part of their own aim. And the innovations they wouldn't bring, that now the ideas them wouldn't will bring now new ideas, and then they try to bring inside. But you they ask yourself now, all about this time when they don't deliver these things, you they see say now it is still more of something what they do where it actually look like waiting WFP they do. Even though in some other forms then they bring in initiative to farmers. But if you look, say, the brief areas they see them clip all that thing there, now like waiting WFP they give, una just need, they can't give una we able for manage for sustain. So in other words, waiting at the aim of FAO, they actually still not able for achieve them. Out of them 83 countries they wouldn't get. Okay, coming to that now, then get back another one where they look of peace. Because in FAO then do. Because when you look at 2 hours ago on Food and Agricultural Organization, what did they say? They say achieving food security is not just about food supply and food production, and about access. And then they talk about now for achieve peace for they go able for do anything they are. So the question is say actually this thing right now, what they do so, what they do now a respond and recovery program from this COVID. And then they back them up now with some other things they wouldn't they can before. So I they bring about all this push. Because if you look one side, FAO then go, I see them then go side na the rural farmers then. The rural farmers there, I think some area the rural farmers they go give them seeds. Then I think today or yesterday or sometime this week, then last week, they go give them seeds for sale for use for plants. All right, that is good. But you go question now, say, they need seeds, of course. They need other food, of course. But you look at in a large scale, or then people they go able for plant that food there in the rural areas. I mean, the rural part of the western area. You know, now in a western rural area, now put on that side. Now they then go do this. So are they going to have enough electricity? Are they going to able for sustain good roads? Will they go able for camp? Or now which type of farming then they do? So all these kind of factors, they go begin the question is they are actually helping, they are doing some initiatives, but are they in go between? What are the government in role now? The government in role, now in this sense they try to do so, but they ask again, is it in a large scale or in a smaller scale? Because some of these now the function of FAO and the functions of EU, but what about the duties of the government now? Because these people in the kind side with just minimal amounts them, except for some of them where they can't give big money, but again, when they utilize them, are they going to do it like a bumper harvest? First, you think of state farms, then you think of upland rice farming. Because when you think of swamp rice farming, I think Boku people and they manage so now, because the swamp, is able to get fertilizer for himself. That's what the plant that they do, that pot half thing, they call them the sediment, they move. So then the plant they back, you see that plant, that rest they come up fine. But the swamp they're not big. When you say you plant now a swamp, now a small area near the stream, so water they flow or something, and then water can go to the swamp, they go big small. If you see that they big like them well they. So man, they take that water, they even for making young garden. So those are the area on a swamp rice. But now upland, then outside the land strong, when they cut thick, then can make them thick, then they as farm wood or so use as cool. Those are the land they would for try the target. In the first place, then try for look what in FAO they try for bring inside. Because 2 days ago again, the FAO back, I think in a Zoom platform now the FAO na salon. Then over I think just 2 days ago. But it's still not the same strategy they try for carry inside. Because then they say then they try for do a kind of innovation on technology. And this technology that they try for emphasize on. And that quick response and how for challenge and tackle. Then how for tackle the challenges they wouldn't get. But we didn't get 2 or 3, 4 representatives for that Zoom meeting with a guy called Frederick who will represent FAO. but I don't know what is the outcome. Any detail I get them, what's that today can I will bring them up. But the idea they say, then people when they talk on Zoom, are they really telling the actual problems and showing say this now this we need, this now this type of technology. Now the land this what we get, we big, we want to can make farm now. When we make the farm, first of all, it will be people that employ, then produce. All right. When they produce, they will produce at a price where the people then will able to afford them based on their income. All right. They get other produce them back where they will able to say, no, we produce. So that they will able to get, because that upland rice farming is able to accommodate crop rotation. It rotates the crop. It get the carbohydrates, Dr. Itoka, they get the protein type. Then it can even get farm where it be say they involve back animals them. Where the animals they own protein, it look higher. And the human beings for let you go able to grow in body blocks, all them things that are in body that they make up of protein. The cow doctor they try to explain the other side. The other side are the protein back where they try to help you for let you thin up as mortal man. So that way they are feel free government, then the government sometimes then when at the rep them go able for the look say now then see how they look for instead of with the allow if they can wait now then small wire and when then they go only go to some of the farmers then some of them are swamp rice farming. Some of them you not go able for expand them because one you not get the manpower for work big farm. You go only okra or other farm where in number go able. So what thing we get for bring on this technology here where they get them bumper rice harvesters them combined rice harvesters, but it go use that this upland rice farming where them go able for look for. And then look say they not go able for duplicate like how Usman told mentioned and then Mr. be mentioned about that issue of that farm area. They go make sure they don't duplicate areas they want on one side. Because what in the statistics or the survey call, they not call the south and the east, then call part of the east one are towards the north at the corner side, then call the other areas the all side, and then do them in a very, very nice way. Because even if person if you don't lie, they don't ring you, they don't tell you say would they come. I don't think that would they can ask you. And obviously in those scenarios, person go lie. You not go lie. Because certain side and they don't tell you now. This is just kind of camp, so no more than go see some people that they expect the questions, when this answer. The questions are real in the way where the people then give them forehand, then come meet them and then tell them what they feel. And the outcome, then do am say will not get enough because they know they get that 3 basic meal. Then they only get that 1 cooks until half of an end they use that money for 1. So all those kind of factors. So the government therefore try to play a good part in wherein they go see the entry point where people are at and then go lead them, say, now the road this. Because then are strangers then. Then go able to sit but they are not on the ground for feel the pinch, for know the taste. So when then they can, then go able for can't dictate to una say, well, we're not going to try this method. The owner self will suggest, say, this is how it will, if you say this, I don't affect me for long years. We'll not been get this, we'll not been get this, how we'll able for achieve them. But if they just they go no more and go sit and they go give loan to farmers there, and then they just give a small thing for sustain them, it will be very, very questionable. Because when you look, even the man who are the other FAO director, he says now one are dongo, I think I kill you dongo na some Japanese man. He say then this September same again. He say you have to transform food system a sustainable health diet. The healthy diet I go able for sustainable. But the problem, these are their ideas. What they want for learn and go do. So you left to una back when they don't show you the ideas, they are not able to interpret them for can meet up una young. If I just go give them a project, what the project no go no side, no go work. So that's how no more want for look them into in terms of cooperation and collaboration between the 3 parties. And then the people in back when they give the farming, then themselves they able for they bring out suggestions there. We need to just put them can and give because you are in need. That moment they will give you go gladly. But sometimes they stand back and say, is this going to help us? Follow we able to help others them as well. And thank you very much for giving the platform.
Thank you very much, Usman. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome, sir. Yeah.
Make we count Tony. Make we hear you. What in Tony get for we? Yes, Tony, you get the platform. Welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, Abraham, thanks so much for having me. The area where I want to look at, we know say definitely a lot of activities not going on. being that we have this COVID thing, and so a lot of people are not employed, and most of those areas, them way the highlights, there were businesses where they go on the wherein people then get some jobs, people to get employed. So the devil forgets them, the small resources where they didn't go on a market and get some yam for can cook. Then you get bulk of the people within the region, and they all don't migrate, don't either kind of the big towns and cities. Them all man they come do your small business, Ukada or this or that. So if I say some people are left behind a population where they either depend on them in Africa, and that's all time. We all know the business landscape in Africa. Not all man they will get business right now for money for send to people them. So all gap they way cause all them problems then they. But we know say yes, it can be addressed if we actually prioritize agriculture, where we see the current administration they try for put emphasis on. But we get for understand one thing, say you get for make agriculture look more attractive, for make you get more people into it, for make them see and say yes, it's an alternative, for make them improve their livelihood. And ways that we able for make some of those 10 things then they being available. That wherein you create the ready markets, like you have to make sure so you revamp the SLPMB, you have to give food implements them. Before we see them, they give food for free food for work or whatever. People then go and give them food and anything in it. But those were just quick fix. It was not sustainable wherein you have to forget people and because it's not sustainable, it's not long term. You have to get a long term plan wherein you have some of these people. You get different regions in the country. Then there's so many progressive groups that they form, where they do farming, then go, you understand, we power opener, this and that. Even Kono gets a lot of those things, then they come in together, women then come together, they farm, at the end of the day, they sell the proceeds, then save, then bank them, then the next year again, you understand? But these farmings were not commercialized farmings in a sense, because it's just like a subsistence farming, wherein they sell, they eat short term, the food done, then you see the next 2-3 months and go back in the market or go buy the same food stuff the way they go. So you got to make sure say the agricultural implement. The past regime spends a lot on agriculture. They give out a lot of implement, tractors, this, that, whatever you can name. But how effective were they in enforcing that people they actually use them implements there, which have been millions of dollars. So people they take them tractors there for carry wood. So people they use them on different things. Then you see some of the paramount chief or local authorities, then pack them behind the yard where you see minister, So you got to look at the whole thing, why previous regime not succeed in them things here, and see how you can able for improved on them, because you don't want to invest in it and then at the end of the day you're not able to get a breakthrough, you understand, a break even in investments, you understand. So you got to make sure say the people that were there within the area, like me farm on the way in a Gandon, we get very good areas them for farm. People in say Kono is just mining. When you take Kono, there are certain areas in Koidu town, like the Kaikodu area, going towards the Kizit area, then they go towards the Kailao, Gando, and this and that. Those areas are not mining areas. Those areas are purely agricultural areas. If you go there, you see exactly produce the way they come up from the area. Then you will surprise. You understand? We have vast land that we can farm, that we can even put more emphasis on, where we can put more resources and then forget dividend. But you got to make sure, say that, just like I mentioned, it's an attractive investment. One area where I like for reference things the way they happen in our country. Salon Brew, for example, most of them they put things the way they use for make them beer. You understand? Now important be important. They start from beginning Google sorghum. Some people they know what they call sorghum. So when they use like apps or whatever for do beer, then come them get farmers that will be they farm and this and that, provide the market for them, get loans from bank. Let's say the current MD na MP could work out was in UT Bank, give loans. The farmer they be happy, then they grow sorghum, this and that, and no says at the end of the day there's a ready market. So those farmers, if you go meet them, they get capital because they secure a loan from the banks, and they get money in their hand because they don't know the way they sell and they have to take care of their families. And these people are not people living in Freetown. These are people living in the regions, especially the northern side. You understand? You don't forget that kind of way. The way it's very attractive. You create the market, get everything ready. You understand? I know it's difficult. You can't just set it up overnight, but you have to take that trend there and you review each time when you wait and corner, they give you the culture, whatever, they review and see say there is a progress being made. If there is any bottleneck situations, if there is any challenges, go back and able to see how you can resolve those things. Because most of these people who they see on Africa where they do Okada, it's not a bad occupation. It's not a bad occupation. But with the time for say, if you can therefore redirect the energy and if they focus into something else, they can more take care of their people more in the regions. They can able to be more creative. They can able to be more productive in whatever livelihood where they choose for them. But they look at agriculture as if, oh, better not it's more labor intensive. You therefore put in, because if you see people the way they dig in a swamp, they therefore put plastic in their foot, put an inside a boot for go dig in a swamp. And we all know at the end of the day, then they get cold, then they get pneumonia, then they get so many things, and the medical condition of the country, safe not good. So some people at the end of the day, if they farm this year, next year they don't go able for farm because the pain and this and that because of the whatever. If that young man did not talk, you don't see in uncle or in papa, you suffer and they can't see it. You know they get the courage. So you got to make sure say it's a holistic thing where everything got for be in place. Even if farmers want for go hospital, if for make sure there is less consideration, say let them go pay less or whatever. It's not like a say power. But just the way we're going for designer, we all know say we get IFAD. IFAD this salon, they don't do tremendous work. They don't do road feeder, road stem now. That going and do area, Tego Kono, and this and so much. IFAD now, International Federation for Agricultural Development. They've invested a lot in agriculture and salon. So many much things. So some of us get surprised at the end of the day. Today we never meet we goal on agriculture. Or we never for meet we goal where people then go for eat 3 score meal or 3 whatever before they go sleep. You understand? Because those areas the way they mention about so the areas that we get vast land. The area the way you understand we know this is all what we talk about decentralization. If you cannot decentralize and have offices or big factories or this or that in some those regions, definitely waiting the people that are for common man at them big town in the Kana city. Because famine is dead. Famine is not going on. And then old granny, old grandpa, the way, not get nothing for do for making them keep going. Yeah, so if we really get for help the 5 billion population, we not get food. So many things they do get for do. So many get for decentralize a lot of things them, where we get for make sure say those things they are available to some of these regions them, where you need able for move the people, because those people remind you do not get food. And waiting need another food. Some people know their jobs. Some people that need the agriculture with the FCC waiting not viable in their own eye. Well, we don't say viable. Yes, we will see the chief minister doing farming. You see other government functionaries are doing farming because they have the resources. Agriculture is not a cheap occupation. You have to get the initial resources for going to agriculture. Somebody not to go put in last per agriculture. Mind you say it's a risk. What about if you yield not become good? You get a bad yield. We are in certain pest or whatever infest you goods or whatever way they do. So you get forget resources. So make sure say if they cannot have the resources, let us have an alternative. Wherein they have like IFAD. If I go and create banks there, because if I get a old bank with open academia, get institutions there where farmers can for come with less interest, less this, more whatever, come and get some resources where they came for put back. It's a shame because when you look, we have so many opportunities in Sierra Leone. We can always compare we and Guinea. When are they Amdala or why are they Conakry Sadi? If you're angry almost o'clock, you didn't work a candle on a junction. You get fresh avocado, what we call pear. You get things that you fresh tomato. You get this, you get egg. These are farm eggs. These are not imported eggs. You go, you make you salad. You pear salad. You go, you buy long bread, you chapalapa. You go, eat confirm one. And not to say no man a Conakry debut. If you Conakry get food. Because this is something they started long since. And not to today Guinea begin for. You understand? So you find out when you talk about food, you talk about those things, you talk about things the way you can substitute to a normal meal. Not to rest normal. We'll do substitute others diets then. They have it. First we get food in a salon. If you know what eat rest, you eat food. You understand? But those foods are not more. Because people don't know say it's viable. Some people don't go make ebe, eat potato and this and that. We also go up Friday night, ebe will go eat. Now, if we go eat, we're not going to eat less because you don't eat less 2 hours. We're not there. Because all those things, when you go to the marketplace, they're very expensive. It's all like importer. But if you have the ready-made bag, it gives people them the zeal. Because they know, so when I don't do it produce, it comes definitely. I get people who they can buy and money, then I'm in pockets. You know, that's not my own take. I just know I'm whatever. But we have the opportunity. We leaders them or whoever authorities that we handle the area, they just need to go back to the drawing board. We're spending huge money on agriculture. Spending on the various areas, decentralize some of those functions. Then the companies come, we make them go to the region and they make them go. They even like the district headquarters. So people then within the area, then the way they feel, so you're able to decongest this capital city. They can go back. Just like way London Mining, Africa Mineral, Danos, all these companies, they were in the north doing mining. A lot of people, Abraham. If you see you go to Losa, if you see people there. You go Makeni, if you go Petel, if you go Bumbuna, if you go Ferengbaya, if you see people there, all now come on a feet on. So you see, say, if there are opportunities, they come, we will actually set the platform. Nobody no go sleep, you know, it's twice a day. They must eat. But those things, they're not there, or they happen, you know.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, brother.